So, okay, it's like 12:01. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So first of all, it's always a good idea to do anything with massage with clean hands, just as a way of kind of like energetically saying like, I'm clean, I'm coming to this clean, especially if you're doing someone else, but also for your own self. But you know, like truth be told, do I clean my hands most times before I massage myself? No, not really. So with acupressure, there's no really one right way to do it. What we're looking for are points on the body, and most acupuncture points are in holes. And I'm going to show you how to find different ones. I'm going to show you one on the face, but it's not in a mucous membrane. You've been inside, you should be okay. And I'll show you on the ear and a couple of other spots. And when you're massaging them, you can actually use like essential oils if you want. There's different ones. Oh, is this showing up backwards in there? Oh yeah, it is showing up backwards. Anyway, so there's a bunch of different ones that I use. I know what I'm doing with essential oils, so I know some of them cannot be used on the body and some of them can. I actually have written an article about that and given you links in the article. So if you want that, you can email me and I'll send it over to you, because there's things to know, like some can actually burn you, you know, and so I think a lot of times people are just like throwing them on all over the place because they're natural, but actually you need to be careful. I didn't realize this is probably gonna be backwards, so I was like reading up my stuff. Oh, you can? Oh, it's just backwards to me.
Yes.
So I don't know if you guys can read my terrible lefty handwriting, but it's aculuminary@gmail.com. And you guys know me, so you can always just, you know, message me on Facebook or something. And I can send you the article for it. So, okay. So when you're doing acupressure, basically what you want to know is you want to feel the point. You don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to dig in there really hard, but you do want to kind of feel it, and you want to have like a little bit of an indent into what you're doing. And so, you know, I would say press on the point 5 times, 6 times, or hold it for 20 seconds. But again, it's not really about like, oh, that you have to do this for 30 seconds or at this pressure. It's more about like what feels right to you. And then it's just a matter of like actually finding the points when you're doing that. So the first one I'm going to show you is actually right here between the eyebrows. And so this is called yin tong, and I am recording this, and I can also send you like links if you want to, if you forget this stuff or whatever. So if you look in between your eyebrows, we've got that little, like where we get this guy, it's actually right in the middle. And if you push your finger in firm enough, you should be able to feel a little ridge. And go a little bit lower, I think both of you. It's a little bit hard. Yeah, there, Roberta, you got a little bit better. And I think, Paige, you're a little hard to see. Go a little higher. But if you push right here and you kind of go back and forth, you'll feel like a little ridge. Does everyone kind of feel that little ridge in there?
Yep.
So it's right in between the ridge. So if I were to stick a needle in there, I would put it right in between there, but you can just like press. And so this is a mind calming point. So basically this, if you just even kind of hold it or press into it and then take deep breaths while you're doing it. For me, what it feels like is like a spreading sensation across my forehead. Like, okay, my mind's calm. And this actually works on cats and dogs as well. So I'll do this on kitties. I know that Paige, you tried on all your little kitties. They'll let you. Yeah, and you can see like I'm a little bit red from where I was pushing it. Like I also just turn really red, but you should be able to see like where you were doing it, probably depending on the tone of your skin, right? And so you just do it until it feels right. Like there's no, you know, but for me, like it works pretty quickly. For people that are really intuitive and sensitive, like some people don't like this point. I actually personally don't like having it needled, but for me, just pressing it like in my own time and accord actually feels really good. So that one's called yin tong. Most of these points, I'm just going to give you an organ name and a number. So that one's just the only one of the ones that's in Chinese. Let's see. Then right here on the top of the shoulders is gallbladder 21. And this point, if you are pregnant, you would not want to use this point because it actually can stimulate labor. But what you're looking for is at the top of the shoulder, there's a high point. Let's see if I can do this. And so you can see my bra strap there, but you see there's like a high point in here. If you press straight down into that guy, it actually gives you tons of relief just from that. Yeah, right? Like I saw Roberta's face. As soon as you hit it, you're like, oh, right? So a lot of massage therapists use this, but remember, again, it can stimulate labor in pregnant ladies. So actually, if you were trying to give birth, you'd want to push down really hard on this point, like really beating on it because it actually helps. So This is a really good one, and you can just press straight down right on the top. And if you're not exactly sure where it is, just like poke around in there, and you can kind of even just massage the whole area, and it's still going to get it, you know, if you're not exactly right on that right spot. And I would recommend using the other hand for the opposite shoulder, because otherwise you're just, you know, basically using your muscles and causing tension, right? And you can just kind of like, you know, rub it like this. This one, because it has so much neck and shoulder tension associated with it, I think you can actually kind of like jam in there for a while, right? And you should feel it kind of going all the way up into here, and then sometimes even spreading across the side of the head. So this is also good sometimes if you get like these side of the head headaches. I don't know about you guys, but I've been kind of like clenching my jaw a little bit. Right? So, you know, if you've got a lot of jaw tension, this actually can help with that. And then also, since we're talking about jaw tension, here you've got this bone, right? You got like your cheekbone that kind of comes across. If you drag your finger across the bone and then drop down right in front of the ear, there's like a hole there. And you can kind of push in there. It's usually a little sore, especially if you're a jaw clencher.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So this guy really can help relieve a lot of jaw tension and pain as well. And then so you feel that hole, and if you drop down a little bit further, there's another one underneath it, and that guy also probably tender, really helpful. I'm totally drawing a blank on what number this is. Don't worry about it. Just know that they're there. You can kind of like press into those guys.
I have a question for
Yeah,
these. Do you want to do it like is it okay to do bilaterally? Like
totally. Yeah, you could do it same time. And again, it's like what feels right for you. You know, I can't tell you for sure what the exact right thing is for you, but for me, like these are so tender and intense that I'm probably not going to push them both at the same time because it freaking hurts, right? Like if you're like kind of stressing out while you're doing it, like I don't know how much you're really helping yourself. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, and you got time on your hands, so you might as well just like kind of slowly massage it. And then you can start pushing like a little firmer too, right? Like you don't have to just jam right through there. And so I think what a lot of people do with massage is they're like, oh, I just have to put the most pressure in there right away. And it's like, you can actually kind of bruise yourself, and the body doesn't respond well to that. The body responds to like, okay, I'm going to put pressure, and then I'm going to slowly push in and sink more. And if you give it 30 seconds, like that's a long time to let everything kind of sink in. So, but yeah, that should help with jaw tension. So then the other point, there's a bunch on the ear. You could actually just massage your whole entire ear, because the ear is what we call a microsystem. Like if you've ever heard of reflexology, right? Like the whole body's on the hand or on the foot. The same thing happens on the ear. And if you think about the ear as a fetus, this guy is the head, and then it kind of curls in and the legs kind of curl in here, right? And then you've got the spine through there. Can you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
So you're sort of drawing like a little head here, spine, legs, and kind of curled up. So then when you're looking at that, that tells you that like here is the head, right? And so that's where most of our mental stress is coming, is in the head. So you could just kind of like massage. And I actually, for jaw tension, also like to kind of pull like this, because when you pull it out this way, it opens up this kind of area in here. It can help relieve the jaw tension. I should just do a class on jaw tension. Clearly everyone needs it. But yeah. And then, and I have another little picture on my phone of an ear, but I'm going to try to show you. So this little hole, okay, you've got this little ridge in the ear right here, right? There's a hole right above it. If you drop your finger into that little hole, there's a really good stress relieving point right there. So let me see if I can show you the picture. It might be easier to see. Whoops. I had this all set up. But this is a mind calming point is what it is. It's actually really powerful. It works extremely well. Let's see. Oh yeah, so I brought up this picture here. You can see it okay? But yeah, it's this little hole right there. So there's that little line and then the hole. But yeah, if you just kind of like go from the outside of your ear and then drop in, you'll put your finger right into that hole. And it is both sides, doesn't matter which side. You could just choose one if your hands are hurting or something like that. And again, so for people that are just joining, it's not so much about like jamming in there and doing so much pressure. It's just about being able to feel it, and just be gentle with yourself, especially right now. Like we don't need anything super jarring or hardcore at this time. Like we just need to like, all the energy is up and crazy. We're just trying to calm it down. So when you're coming at yourself with massage, like do it for pleasure, do it because you want to feel good, and just be like, oh, it actually feels really nice to kind of press in there and massage. right? And I think Americans are like, if a little bit is good, then like a lot is perfect. And you're laughing guilty laughs. Yeah, so we actually just remember, like, back off a little bit. Like, we're not trying to bruise ourselves. I also, that being said, I don't think you're going to actually injure yourself if you get in there and you're like rubbing this all day long. You're, like if it gets sore, maybe back off, right? And then for people that are just joining, again, you can use like essential oils directly on the points. Essential oils are really strong. Only use like 1 drop. So don't use it on every single point, or like 1 drop and then just let it go everywhere. Hey, Kelly. So that way it also kind of like gets into the points. And so this is like doing acupuncture on yourself, basically, rather than actually like getting stabbed with needles, right? You can use oils, you can use pressure, and to help calm the nervous system. Okay, so we did yin tong right here in between the eyebrows, and just there's a little ridge and you're kind of digging around in there. This is mind calming. We did, this one's called shen men in the ear. You don't have to really remember that, but just remember the little hole there, and you're gonna kind of push on it and be gentle. You can pull down on the ear and just even massage the whole lobe. I think this works really well on babies also. So there's those guys. Okay, then on the wrist, so a lot of people know this guy right here. You've seen it in magazines for like headaches and PMS pain, right? And people see it in different spots. It's called large intestine 4. This point is good for pain. It's actually like a kitchen sink point. Like you can use it for almost anything. But the biggest thing it does is it courses chi. So when we're really stressed out, our chi is kind of getting stuck, and it's kind of like, it's like a little pressure valve like that needs to be let off, right? So you can think about this as like letting a little bit of the pressure off the valve. If you have long fingernails too, you can use like, you could use a pen, you could use your knuckle. Like it doesn't have to just be the tip of your finger that you're using. But so if you look at your hand, there's a bone here, and you actually want to get right up against the bone. So a lot of people do it over here, and that's okay, but really you want to feel the bone. And when you get up against the bone and you hit it about halfway, you're going to feel it, that there's a tender spot there. Does anyone feel like the tender spot there? Yeah. So again, it doesn't work for all headaches actually, but you could try it. But it's really good for just kind of like coursing things that feel a little bit stuck. So that's large intestine 4. Let me check the time here. Then, okay, so across the wrist, there's actually multiple points across the wrist. So if you see my wrist, you see that there's like these lines, right? And when I flex the wrist, in between the 2 lines, there's like a little section there that you can kind of remember. I said acupuncture points are in holes. They kind of create some little holes, right? Yeah. So it's like if there's no space and then you do this, your finger kind of drops in. And if you're really worried that you're not exactly hitting it, you could just use like a broad base and rub all the way across. So here, there's a little tendon like right in here that if you kind of dig in, you can feel your finger goes up against the tendon. There's a channel right here called the heart channel. And if you're having insomnia, this actually heart channel is really good for that. So, and it even comes up into the palm. So like if you gently close your fingers, you see where your and it's not gripping really hard, it's just gently closing. You see where your pinky lands? Right there is a little hole. And this is heart 8, and it's really good for insomnia. And again, if anyone wants me to like email them the points we talked about or whatever, I can give you, there's all kinds of videos online. Plus I'm in theory recording this. Oh yeah. Okay, so this guy is really good. Like you're in the middle of the night. Oh, heart channel makes you feel, okay. So if you're feeling nauseous when you're doing this, take deep breaths and drink some water. Thanks, Erica, for bringing that up. I have, like, if you do too many things on the face or the upper body, some people, like, it can just be too much. So just, like, don't do it. Like, pay attention to your body. Chill out. I would actually, I'm going to take off my shoe here. So for anyone that's feeling a little bit nauseous or feeling really ungrounded, I'm going to put my foot in the screen here. But, so, right. That's pretty clean enough. So right here, like if you look at the foot, okay, you got like the heel, you see there's like this kind of lighter section here. If you break this up into thirds and go right to where the skin starts to change, right in the middle, this is kidney 1. And this is actually probably the most grounding point that there is. So this is where all the energy from the earth comes into our body. So not everyone can physically do this, obviously, but you can do it like also bending down. I mean, I'm doing acrobatics to show you, but you could just like lean down and press into it. And then another one is right, so on the inside of your heel, so this is like inside of the leg, right on this heel, like right in the middle, usually. So like on lighter skin, you can see there's like a red and then white that comes together. So the skin color changes a little bit and you just feel, remember that I said there's holes and you're feeling for a hole. This is another like mind calming point. And these are kidney channel points and they actually are for fear, right? So the kidney and fear are related. So you want to use kidney channel points like if you're feeling very fearful. The heart will also do that as well. Like these heart channel points will also do it. Erica, did that help you at all?
Yes, it did help me. Thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah, and feel free if anyone's feeling like anything really weird or whatever, feel free to type in or speak up so that I can help. All right, so back to the wrist. Okay, so you've got your heart channel here. Then you also have the pericardium channel right in the middle. Now, if you kind of like put your thumb and pinky together, you'll see that two little tendons pop up right in here. And in between the tendons is actually the pericardium channel. Some people only have, like actually I'm missing one of these tendons. So, but most people, they see two lines that kind of pop up in through here. And you have to kind of like press firmly to see them pop up. Don't worry about it too much, but basically like center of the wrist, if you press in that little hole, this is another mind calming point, like pericardium 7. So for me, and then there's a point over here, this is a lung point. So everyone's concerned about their lungs right now. This actually is a point that builds the lung, and I would just gently rub it. So there's heart 7, pericardium 7, and lung 9. And they all are kind of calming points. These also might actually work for back pain and stuff too, which is kind of weird. You can experiment with it. A lot of these points can be used for multiple things. But yeah. And then you could just like seriously just rub. Like you don't have to worry about getting into the little spots, but if you're trying to be really specific, then that's how you do it. Any questions about that stuff so far? Okay. So how does everyone feel just from like massaging these points?
What about how long do you recommend doing this on each point?
So it's kind of depends on yourself. So I would say like, if you just want me to give you a number, I'd say like 10 seconds, because 10 seconds is actually a long time, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, or you could like press like 5 times or something like that. But you could like hold each point for 30 seconds, a minute if you wanted to. I don't think you can overdo it, other than you can press too hard and kind of like bruise yourself a little bit, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, anyone else? Other questions? Okay, let me show you a few other ones. Let's see. Oh, pericardium 6. Okay, so one of the ways that we find points on people, like if you go to an acupuncturist, we'll just be like, bam, we're gonna stick a needle in there. Well, there's measurements, right? So like from here to here has a certain measurement, then that's how we know where things are, because everyone's body size is different, right? So we use something called Sun measurements, and actually you can use your own body to measure these things. So on your thumb, the width way is 1 sun. And so I'm gonna show you a point that's 2 sun, right? So you're gonna go from the flexion of the wrist, where I just showed you where like pericardium 7 is, and you're gonna go 1, and then you're gonna go over and go 2. And then right where the edge of that thumb lands, that's where the point is. Does that make sense? Like your thumb is 1 sun, 1 sun, or on your index finger from your nail to this first knuckle right here is the same distance. So like if you measure with your thumb, it's pretty much the same, right? Like it's 2 sun, and it's like close enough. So we're gonna go in the middle, we're going on the pericardium channel. We're doing that little thing so we see the tendons pop up, and you're gonna look like, where does my first knuckle land? Well, on me, it's right about there, right? Now this point, pericardium 6, is a really strong point. It moves stuck emotions. So for some people, if you're trying to move something you're not ready to move, you may not want to do it, so you have to just kind of feel into it for yourself. But if you're ready to kind of like move some things, and it's really good for like chest tightness and anxiety, But I think with acupressure and you doing it on yourself, you'll be okay. But like for me needling it, I'm sometimes careful with this one because it can be so strong. You can also, if you push it too hard, it gets a little nervy, like it, because there's a big nerve channel that runs through there. So if you're feeling like zinging sensations, then you're definitely doing it too hard. But it's usually pretty tender on people. But again, like if you drop your finger down, it's like, bam, there's a hole right there. So even if you forget to do the little measurement thing. Let's see. Okay, so let's review, because that was a bunch of different things. So there's yin tong, which is really like where your eyebrows come in and then drop your finger right into the middle. It's not above, it's not below. So it's like bridge of the nose up, and then you'll feel a little ridgy right there. So this is mind calming. We did some jaw tension points. So we found the ridge of our cheek here, and we went above, and then we went below. So this helps open up the whole jaw in there, bam, bam. And just, you're looking for the little holes. And you can even actually go behind the ear too if you wanted to, but that one always kind of hurts me. Then in the ear is shen men. So this is like that little divot in the ear. There's a little hole, drop your finger in there and just kind of dig around and press. You don't have to press super hard. This is another mind calming point. And you could literally just kind of hold it like this if you wanted to. If you ever go to an acupuncturist and they give you ear seeds, they almost always are sticking it on one of these points for stress relief. So, and this is good too. Like, I mean, you know, it's not just stress. Like stress is a blanket term. It just means that your body's having a nervous system response to like some kind of challenge, right? So it's basically fight or flight is kicking in because your body's like, there's something to be afraid of. There's a bear coming to get me. There's like, you know, people are trying to kill me, like whatever it is. And your body doesn't really know, your mind and your body don't know the difference between just like a little bit of stress and a lot of stress. So that nervous system's kicking in. So all we're trying to do is like, okay, nervous system, let's calm down. So we're going to do that with deep breathing, really into the diaphragm, and then using these points, right? And I don't know, like my ear, I think is already turning pretty red from just the amount that I've been touching it. Like this one's not, but you can feel the heat too, right? Like as you've been kind of pushing on those points. Oh, one thing I totally forgot to say is that when I'm doing any kind of massage, I usually like to kind of like get the energy in my hands a little bit. So I like kind of warm them up and do some clapping type stuff. And you can feel your fingers get a little tingly. And so, and if you want to think about your fingers as having the tips of your fingers, we call it like the eyes of chi. So it's like, this is how, if you put your mind into your fingertips, it's a way to kind of like direct your energy so that what you're doing isn't just like poking, like you're actually intentionally doing something with your fingers, if that makes sense for that. I was going to show you guys some stuff on the feet. I already showed you two. Does everyone have access to like their foot? Is that a thing that you can do? Because I want to show you one that's for like the frustration kind of stress. I'm going to take my shoe off again. So this guy is liver 3. Let's see if I can get my foot up there. I don't know. I'm going to have to move my chair. I was like, I'm not going to do the feet, but we have time, so I'm going to do it now. Good thing I do yoga, geez. Okay, so 2 toes, right? You got like this big knobby here on the toe. If you drop, can you see that? I feel like I have to go this way. Maybe. So you're gonna drop your finger down past the big knob, and then you're gonna bring your finger over and across and in between the 2 toes. I feel like, let me try the other direction. I think this will be easier.
We can see.
Oh yeah, this is actually better though. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna drop your finger down in between these 2 bones here, and you're gonna it's gonna stop at another hole. And usually on most people, this is pretty tender.
Yeah.
This is liver 3. So this one and the hand one, this guy here, large intestine 4, they make a pair called the 4 gates. And if you just hit like those 2 on each side, you're gonna course that stuck feeling of chi. So for me, like if I'm getting like kind of road ragey or whatever, obviously like I'm not even driving right now, but that feeling of like, you know, like nobody besides me knows how to do anything correctly. This guy is a really good one for that. Especially if you feel like everything is kind of rushing up, it's a good one to pull everything down and like course it out. So it just depends on how in touch with your kind of sensations in your body you are. This is a great time to do that, start paying attention to like what's actually happening in your body. So much of the time we're so busy that we don't even really notice it. So it's good to kind of check in. Okay, so there's liver 3, and this one is pretty tender and it feels like a bruise usually just starting, but you can just kind of like press into it, and actually that bruise feeling will probably start to go away after you press it for a little while. And you can do both sides with that one. And then again, kidney 1 is the bottom of the foot, right? And there's a hole there. Like if you kind of poking around on your foot, you're not really used to the bottom of your foot, it feels like there's a lot of holes, but it's like right in the middle. Or you could just use like your whole hand if you wanted to. And that way you would know you were getting it. And so again, kidney is related to fear. This is a grounding point. And also like I'll think about with my foot on the ground, like I am kind of putting my energy or putting my mind down into that point and connecting to the earth that way as a way to kind of like bring everything down when everything feels like, you know, like anxiety is like, everything's floating up. So we want to bring it back down. And then kidney 4 is a really powerful point also. And it's just right in right in this section here. And there's a little hole. Like you can, even if you look, you can kind of see there's a hole, but if you drop, your finger will go right into it. And this is another really strong mind calming point to help with fear. Okay. Any questions about any of those things? No. Cool. That's pretty much it. Let me know if you want me to email you the article I wrote about using essential oils safely. I think even just sniffing essential oils right now can be helpful with stress as well. So, and I think that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good to see you guys.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Be safe, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Bye.